is a triple ranged lineup. Right, a huge amount of extra physical damage is going to come into play here. And then if they win that aggro tri-lane, they should also win the bottom lane, which is going to be the Queen of Pain faced up against what should have been the Bat Rider. But NiP obviously know what's happening here. There's no way the Queen of Pain is a solo off lane here. They read the aggression. They're going to be trying to stay ahead of that tri-lane, aggro tri-lane of Team Empire. So they're going to be running the Slark and Skywrath Mage to bottom lane, and Hanskin, as well as Eunice, are going to be up at top.
Man, I haven't seen a draw range of mid-solo, all these casts of draw range of mid-solo since TZ fed it. That was basically my last memory of the draw ranger in mid. And
so not a very good memory for you.
No,
watching the draw ranger die over and over. Still pulled out the win,
the hilarious
but
thing
died
is,
over
like, it's
and
not so
over
I'm masochistic, but the draw ranger was still effective after death.
Yes, it was.
Which, it brought it back almost close to the Warcraft 3 lore, where she is, in fact, a dead ranger, as opposed to now, where she's just the pretty one of a whole bunch of ugly people. Prefer the old lore.
Toby dropping the lore bombs here.
Hey.
At MLG.
Yes. Yes.
So, Bounty Rune going to be picked up by Limp, the mid Zeus, while Resolution, the draw ranger mid, will grab the opposing Bounty Rune. Team Empire, recognizing the fact that, hey, NiP are going to be trying to dodge us as much as possible. Let's actually switch up our lanes. We're going to be a little bit far behind. We'll probably miss out on the first CS.
This may not be where he wants to walk into. The Observer sees him. A low dance goes to the first stun. You do have Grave Shield, so you can chip away at his life, even if you can't find the kill with the range axes. And they may almost have enough. Is there enough with the hit up the hill? They've got it! Visage will take the first blood. And that's quite big for him, not just for the experience which is gained here, but it's going to be item progression for a Visage, which is a little bit scarier, in fact.
Yeah,
because it can mean your early medallion or whatever else you want.
90% of 4 positions would have guaranteed been dead there. The fact that it was only close was because Night Stalker's actually pretty tanky versus physical damage early on. He starts off with 5 armor and a decent amount of HP. This is still a very favorable setup for Team Empire, and Ninjas and Pajamas are just going to have to constantly rotate to deal with this. You can see Era is already up at the top lane. Yeah. He's going to be taking over this. They want to match up against the Queen of Pain, but I'm not sure how much Team Empire are going to rotate to follow the tri-lane. Because they don't necessarily want to tri-lane with the Queen of Pain because she wants the levels. But do you constantly move your troll? He's not getting much farm at that point.
Well, right now, like, there's no tri-lane for NiP. I'm happy with Silent being exactly where he is. Quap can remain where she is. And NiP are the ones who are abandoning the lanes. They put Eunice into the jungle, and they just stack. So Seal Kid, there's no point keeping him on the bottom lane until the creep wave reaches the tower, so he can just move into the jungle and start stacking up, or potentially be a little bit more of an aggressor up against the Quap, which we're already seeing Hanskin doing. Pushing Funnick just a little bit further back, but not too far. Actually, Sealkid's just bypassing it. Because they have the Dire Observer Ward here, which is watching the movements quite closely of the Quap.
Loha Dance is going to be stacking up that hard camp. Very critical point where the troll could use that, but I think it's much more likely that the Draw Ranger actually is going to be farming up a hard camp. Not that she does it that quickly. Obviously, she's all single target, but she can actually basically do full-time jungle at a certain point and free up the middle lane. Probably for the Visage, but maybe for the Queen of Pain if she's feeling very threatened. But she seems to be getting a decent amount of experience here in the top lane, about to pick up level 3 by 3 minutes in.
I've seen a moment for Era. I'm actually, it's funny to watch because this is now our second Draw Ranger game we've had on the stage. The first one was a Draw Ranger who went for boots first, went up against the Clockwork on the safe lane, and was all about the arrows to try and help find kills. But this one, in the mid build, you realize, like, Resolution understands what his purpose is. His purpose isn't to be the be-all, end-all hero killer that's out there. His purpose is to make sure all the other lanes win. So he needs to get level 6 nice and quickly. This will give the upgrade. You put everything you possibly can into the precision aura, so you're able to buff up the rest of your heroes, and you don't even get boots first. If you die, you die. Who gives a crap? You TP back in again, and you keep finding the experience. Everything else just goes into this agility to start with. Like, only now, 3 minutes in is a mid-solo by boots. This is normally very late for most of the mid-solos, unless you have, like, especially ones that don't have escape mechanisms.
Yeah, if you ever want to be able to get denies versus a Zeus, and it's one of the big downsides of Zeus that he can't get denies on you typically, but you can usually get some denies on him. If you want to be able to contest his 2 levels in Arc Lightning, you're going to need some extra damage. So I like the extra Wraith Band he brings into lane, ensures that Resolution should be able to pick up a couple denies here and there, and also ensure he doesn't really miss much CS at all. Funnick is kind of forced to rotate around. The top lane is so dangerous just because the Skywrath Mage and the Night Stalker both have a disable. We don't see Hanskin leveling up Crippling Fear just yet, but he probably will just keep it unleveled for a while until he sees the opportunity now. Funnick coming in middle lane.
Yep, with the cold arrows, they've also got that gust to try and slow down Limp, but the damage output is not enough. The Shadow Strike is, well, it is level 2, which is keeping Zeus Knights in low, but Resolution, what can he do here? There's stick charges for the quad, but it's not going to be enough. 4 heroes from NiP ended up coming in close for that, but Zeus bought enough time to go for one last Lightning Bolt.
Yeah, the Queen of Pain, if you guys were wondering what she was doing there, she was trying to stay out of range of the Lightning Bolt, and so she was just kind of back and forth in one area, because if she moved too far right, the Lightning Bolt would easily be able to hit her. At the same time, she moves too far left, and then gets caught by this guy with Mage's Silence. And this is reason why the Queen of Pain was, for me, not a pick that I expected, solely because Queen of Pain is so susceptible to these
she's going to go
silences.
again. Down onto the Zeus. The Soul Ring has arrived, but always want to fly. Needs the Grave Chill to slow down the Zeus. Support comes in from the Night Stalker. It is nighttime, but they've already got the kill on Limp, and there's no point for Hanskin to get aggressive here, because he already uses 1 point up in Void and has no mana. So, nothing more to give.
Yeah, and only being level 2, a level 1 Void doesn't do enough for you to be able to try and commit to a counter kill onto the Draw Ranger.
It's also because Dro's now got her aura up, so she's giving 26 points of bonus damage to every range hero on the map.
Yeah, you saw Hanskin with all that armor, and yet he still took 106 points of damage from one right click of the Draw Ranger.
Yep, and it's going to get worse too, because Troll just hit level 6. So the attack speed increase is going to be there.
Ooh, they're going to try and trap NiP.
Maybe. Aloha Dance is here with the smoke. Gets the stun over on the Night Stalker. Grave Chill. You're sealed up on the Visage. It's just going to stop the Soul Assumption. But it's not going to stop anything else. There's still another pick coming the way of Team Empire. And NiP's... Whoa, Courier! Careful. That Owl's got a death wish.
I thought the Snarl was trying to deliver wards to the enemy team. For
looks like Eunice is in a lot of trouble. He's okay. He had time for the bottle charges. Basan was definitely getting up in his face.
Yeah, now the Batrider's going to be trying to get that to bottom rune, but Always Want to Fly is already going to be sitting there. So it's unlikely that our Batrider gets it. Well, maybe with the help of Hanskin, it could actually be a kill on Always Want to Fly here.
Then again, Eunice into the tree line. Will take 3 hits to get the kill, but he's got Soul Assumption damage. No, there's no mana for it. He went for the Grave Chill. He's going to get the kill on the Batrider. It's a Visage with a solo kill, and in comes San as well. The Thunder God's Wrath has arrived. It'll kill off the Visage, but more support's arrived, and San needs to start beating into it. He's actually switched to range, so he gets more damage out of here. Into the tree line, and then he can't actually reach it. Into the back of the pit. Roshan refuses to deny him. So you lose the Batrider and the Night Stalker, a 2-for-1 exchange.
And a little bit of lost time for Limp as well, as he started rotating farther down, took some damage in the process, and is now not looking quite so healthy. He may be forced into going to Tranquil Boots here.
Interesting note, Silent didn't go for ultimate. He's getting level 7 now, but he went the 2 points up in the fervor and the 3 points up in the range whirling axes.
Yeah, I'm completely fine with that. You see more and more players actually disregard the whirling axes if you have a relatively passive laning phase, because you don't need it for farming, and the higher levels of fervor allow you to actually farm up the jungle just as fast as you would with whirling axes.
But to bypass battle trance for it? So you don't give anything else to your teammates in the lane?
I think that's a little bit questionable, but it also means he has a lot more time when he's chipping away at those towers, right? It's the difference of, yes, Battle Trance is more of a heavier commitment, right? But Silent just, 4 hits on the tower and then backs up routinely.
Batrider's dead. They were hoping to initiate him with the Batrider, but already with him down, Hanskin as well as Seal could have to back themselves out. Silent just goes back to his farming.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit questionable that he doesn't go for Battle Trance, but I do agree with the whirling axes. I think when you're having a passive enough laning phase and you're just farming up, I think more levels in Fervor are better for you to be able to provide split pushing power.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Alright, man, this is also one of these builds which isn't really great as far as economics go. They got a silence. Yeah, Queen of Pain's in a lot of trouble. Support's rotating in, but it won't be able to get there in time. Zeus lets the bolt off, and Queen of Pain will go down. But while this is happening, NiP's abandoned the bottom lane, and Visage is level 6. So we have Familiars up on the board now.
Draw Ranger is spending a lot of time farming up the jungle now, leaving that middle lane open to other heroes such as the Queen of Pain. Unfortunately, caught him out, but...
The Familiars are there. And did Dro just activate? No, Dro did not activate the aura.
Nope, that's just regular Visage familiar damage.
Yup.
Pretty ridiculous. Jump forward. They're going for limp. This is super aggressive. I don't know why they would go for
zoning.
that.
It's just zoning. Funny's playing the very aggressive kind of style. I'm liking this from Empire. Trying to slip in under the cover of, well, I'm going to say day, because you don't really get cover of night when you're up against Night Stalker.
Yeah, I think that plays into the super aggressive play in middle lane, right? Just draws attention to middle, and kind of NiP will respond going, oh, they must have more backup in the middle lane than just 2 heroes, but it draws your attention away from that Roshan pitch, which Empire can so quickly do. With the Drow Ranger, they didn't even need a Troll ultimate there, but yeah, you get it anyway.
And now you got Nagus the Immortal, and this is the position I was talking about, and you were also talking about it as well, with the push power that comes out from Empire, it arrives now. So what has NiP got that can stop this? The Slark is not ready to fight. Era has treads and a poor man's shield with a Ring of Aquila. It's not bad, but it's not going to be enough to deal with the damage from the Drow Ranger, the Visage Familiars with their control, and the Troll Warlord buff that he can give to the rest of his team. So yeah, they basically have to accept the fact that Tier 1 tower, I blinked and it was gone.
Yeah, they won't be able to contest too many of these towers. Not until the Batrider has Blink Dagger at the very least. Right, the Slark will continue to farm up, but with the 4 of them, right? The Batrider grabs somebody with the lasso, guaranteed kill thanks to the Skywrath Mage ultimate. Then they have the Zeus doing amazing amount of damage, so they can contest some of the early pushes. It's just overly reliant on that Blink Dagger timing for Unison.
Yeah. Well, right now he's behind it. Doesn't help when he gets mud golems, but well, Silent catching out Seal Kid for a
if only
moment.
he'd stuck around for that haste rune.
Well, he gets it now. And he's going to run for it, because up on top, that's where the initiation is, over on the Queen of Pain. She has Sonic Wave and Scream. And Silent's trying to find the choice, and he's found Seal Kid. Concussive shot still on cooldown for him, and Troll needs a bash, and range damage, he spins!
Oh my god, the damage.
That's
Skywrath Mage. I mean, it's not necessarily the damage out of Troll, right? It's also the fact that Skywrath Mage is level 4, still has 0 points of armor.
Yep.
Look at that tower. Good god.
Doesn't last long.
Like, it's actually disgusting how quickly towers will fall here.
I'm still going to flag the fact that Resolution hasn't activated this aura once. All these pushes that have been happening without the aura activation. And now,
Skin and Limb.
Resolution, he does have Gust, which will put that Night Stalker down. The Soul Assumption damage in the arrows. They kept through another one. Silent still also got his ultimate up and available. And here they battle. Silent dropping low. Thundergod's Wrath, not enough to get the damage. Even with that Orb attack, it won't be enough. And Resolution stands his ground. Now he moves over to Limp. He's got the problem of Era sitting on top of him. Last Surf Moyes want to fly, but the VS swap perfect. They're going to find themselves with a 3 for Aegis trade. Resolution gusting it away with a Sonic Wave. Oh, deafening. Absolutely deafening in the blast. NiP lose 4 heroes, and Empire are rolling through NiP. They just took Tier 1, Tier 2 tower, and they lost an Aegis for 4 heroes.
I believe it was PPD who said this, right? During the time where the Visage and Drow Ranger combination was very, very popular, it was basically, I think PPD said it was run so much because it's easy to do.
Yeah.
Right? And you can see it there. Like, you take towers super, super easy. Fights are relatively easy as well. Like, the enemy team is forced to try and get really good initiations. And what happened there was NiP getting very, very poor initiations. Like, they tried to maybe bait them behind the tier 2 with TPs in, but the whole entire force of NiP just felt one by one. Like, the reinforcements were so stagnated.
It's going to get even worse for him. The fact that you got this early helm with a Dominator, like this is 12 minutes in. The Yasha is also getting close to completion for Silent, but he got a helm with a Dominator and an Alpha Wolf. So the damage output from him, like he's already getting a bonus 42 damage when he's in that range form. And it's also really weird to watch a Troll Warlord running around during a team fight in range form. Because normally you're there as merely searching for the bashes, but he's realizing just how much damage he deals from range. There's no point doing anything else.
I'm a bit surprised that Era, it looks like he's going to be going for the drums. Now, I do agree he needs early stats. I just thought it would be S and Y. So the drums is definitely not a bad option here. He just needs early stats so he can fight sooner. He can't go for Shadowblade. He can't go for Blink Dagger. Those items are more pick-off oriented and are not going to let you survive in these team fights. And you saw the last time he popped Shadow Dance and he instantly died to Sonic Wave.
Tower's dead.
Yep.
Didn't take long.
And what can NiP do, right? They have no split pushing possibilities here. They don't have enough team fight necessarily just because they lost the last couple of them. Yep. I think if they stayed away from Empire for a while and then got like a really good like 5-man initiation onto Empire, they could easily win. It just, again, all comes down to that Blink Dagger, the Batrider, which is still not up.
Yep. He can't do it now, and where's the space? Okay, now he's going to. He dragged the creep wave down, the blink dagger can be afforded. But right now, he has to TP himself back to base, pick up that blink dagger, because Empire, this is the earliest high ground push we've seen through this tournament. It's 13 minutes and a half in, and they want to come up. Now, we're not looking at mech. Actually, we are looking at the mech over on the Visage.
Look at
as
the
well as
damage
Medallion. It's just so easy. You can sit in the low ground and beat into it. Silent turns on the ulti. Familiars will trigger, but Resolution still hasn't triggered this Drow ulti of hers. So when that's up, the Familiars just beat the living crap out of that tower.
So you have a total damage increase of 58% between the pack leader aura plus the Vengeful Spirit. You have 120 attack speed increase out of the Troll ultimate, and then you have an additional amount of 48 damage to every hero thanks to Precision Aura.
Tower, 7 HP right now. It may as well be denied. They want to get the Familiars, but there's actually no resummon available. 1 second, now the resummon can be done, and they still take the tower. They didn't even. Why did they deny it?
Oh, I think they want to like bait out the Familiars to go for the tower. That way they can get the last hit and pick up the Visage.
I hate to tell you right now, but all the Familiars have to do is loop themselves up around this corner, and with the Drow Ranger turned on, this Rax goes down.
Oh, Era Smoke has already popped. The surprise is already here, but they kill Quap.
Yeah, Quap down very quickly. Era though with the Shadow Dance trying to hide inside of here. They get the last two dragging, always want to fly back, and the Quap might be down yet, but Aloha Dance so low. The damage from Limp was able to be done. Era so low on life 2 and Silent. You cannot repel power like that. Silent just stands his ground, and this will be a top Rax before even the 15-minute mark. They have gotten in through the top. You got to buy back in from the Slark. You do have Eunice. He's going to come in from behind. Where is it? The Flame Break to split him up. In comes the jump from Era. Stunned up. The Dark Pact will let him break free, but you don't have a magic missile stun. Okay, that's enough damage when the Zeus comes back to life again. Brought back for the Thunder Gods, and then just goes to town. Silent tries to run out of here, but the Bolt Lightning is still there from Limp. So always want to fly will die as well. Empire maybe a little bit too over-aggressive here. The melee ranks is dropped low, but they won't finish that one off. They're hunting these Familiars down too because there's no resummon on the Familiars, so it's sort of worth it. And now they're not going to get anything. This Familiar's going to cover the retreat of the other one and just waste even more time. So Era has to stay where he is, and they don't have enough damage. You can chase left. You're going to go, nope, they say screw it. Get the hell out of there.
It's actually disgusting that the Troll has more incentive to be range form half the time than melee form because he actually does more damage like that.
Yep.
It's insanity. Like, and the only opportunity they have to do damage, they just have to try and kite him around as much as possible. I'm not sure if I agree with the Eunice's initiation, by the way. The last two fights, he's been lassoing up the Visage. And ultimately, the Visage, the hero by himself, I think means very, very little.
It's
the Familiars are more important. And I would love to see him try and control that Troll. I mean, the Troll is the biggest source of damage right now. He's got so many different damage increases from all of his allies that if you just control the Troll, pull him back, sticky napalm him as much as possible, and let the rest of your team just go for the kills on the squishy heroes, I think they could easily win this fight. They can't just focus down the Troll because the Drow Ranger or the Queen of Pain in the back will rip them a new one.
Yeah.
But I think they do need to focus on controlling the Troll, get Lasso on him, get Crippling Fear on him, you know, get that miss percentage chance up.
But how do they still get rid of the Drow? Because right now Drow is flooding in an extra 204 points of damage to our other heroes. That's with them all combined.
You go for, you like the kill wise, you go for the Drow Ranger first if possible. Or the Queen of Pain, trying to pop her if you get the opportunity to get a silence. You know, that's not bad either.
NiP Smoke looks like a very bad paint job. There's holes all through it all. Limp and Era, they are currently revealed, and they're gonna, well, okay. Looping from behind, Thundergod's Wrath reveals all five. Batrider's looking for the target, jumps in with the lasso gun, drags someone back,
nice
very quick
swap.
on the swap, and Resolution also insanely quick on that Gust, silencing up the Naya Stalker, and 2 players from NiP dropping very quickly. Vengeful Spirit is still gonna die here. The Assault is up to damage, pumping into Era. He'll bounce up with a whirling axis, even on range! 65 HP, it's a team wipe against NiP. This will be top Rax, and actually potentially it's mid Rax too.
Yeah, this could very well be GG, just because of the fact that even though they have no HP whatsoever, the damage that they output is absolutely insane. Melee Rax is going to die in 2 seconds, and they can actually move to the tier 3 if they wanted to with like the Visage tanking up. But
they're backing up.
They say no, they don't want to risk it.
Safety first.
Yep. It would be a silly, overly aggressive play, and Empire, I don't think they've shown too much of that. Like early on when they were pushing up the top lane and there was a buybacks from NiP, they did get team wiped in the process.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you forced the buybacks. I think that was a proper amount of aggression. I don't blame them too much for getting caught there just because the engagement was so successful for them overall.
You do see, though, how much it was punished with the experience graph up.
Oh, yeah.
That's what happened there. But we're now at a point where Empire don't really care about anything. They just know they're going to group up again. More than likely, they head down to the bottom lane now. Primarily because Roshan's alive, but it's the last remaining outside tower of NiP. Very easy to bring down with the combo you got, and there's no way NiP want to fight in this region here unless they're committing properly with the smoke coming from behind. And even doing that, fighting into an Aegis the Immortal lineup, Resolution's going to be the man to carry that one, but with the negative armor, yeah, this damage output is just crazy enough. And oh, they called out Batrider! He's in the wrong position!
Where does he go?
I don't know if he's looking for the snipe, but Aloha, yeah, can someone help him?
He's like, goodbye, team. I'll see you on the other side. Go win the Dota game for me.
I'll catch you on the flip side. He needs to be there, though. He needs to be there. Like, does someone have a 4-star? Or no, Sans, you can't pass the TP up. Would you actually believe it? This is a point where a courier is more powerful than a hero.
Yep.
Because the courier can actually get the TP scroll up to the high ground.
So courier will bring it to him. They won't have the Vengeful Spirit, but I still think they could push uphill without a problem.
The funny thing is, though, he's got a TP to the tier 2 tower in the bottom lane. He won't get there. But they've already started to initiate up, so Silent, wow, that Sonic Wave, but the secondary Yule Scepter from Limp managed to bypass it, but it doesn't matter. They take him out. Quap with the one-shot is surviving. He can't blink away in time. Where is this seal going to end? Not soon enough. So it ends up being a 1-for-1 trade-off. I'm really not sure about this from Empire. Patience is a virtue they can display here. Wait for the VS to return.
Yeah,
it seems like a swap would have saved the Quap at that point.
Yeah, exactly, and maybe they could have even gone back in with the rather tanky Vengeful Spirit. Look at the HP on it. 1400 HP.
Well, when you got Strength Traders, a full set of drums, and Urn, yeah.
And her strength gain is really good for an agility hero. And then on top of that, since you're an agility hero, you have high amounts of armor. Aloha Dance, when he swaps, it's not just like, oh, instant kill. It's actually going to take you a few seconds to eat through all that amount of HP, and then at that point in time, Empire can actually turn on you.
I'm going to flag right now that Visage just finished up the Aghanim Scepter. It's coming out in the courier. They gave him the remainder of the Ancients so he could do such a thing. But he's going to start with the 2 Familiars, and then summon up the 3 Familiars, and then push in. So he can even say, like, he won't care about the money he gives over from the Familiar's death. As long as they inflict damage, you're going to get a secondary set of racks. So hold on to the resummon, battle with the 2, bring up the 3. In fact, he's just split pushing now with the other 2. And this, oh wow, they're really going to try and fight this?
They have to get a sneaky engagement. They can't afford to just sit back and wait for Empire to push in.
But your sneaky engagement comes from the Batrider. It doesn't come from the 2 on the side. There's your jump in. They got Resolution, but VS, perfect position from Aloha Dance, and Slark, Era's caught outside. He'll jump in. The Dark Bat will help break him free. He's going to regenerate up quickly. Always want to fly so low that Era, like, he managed to get up another pickup, but he's so stranded. The leap away, the scream, it's in range. The gust, a 60 life points he drops down to. He's out of here. They cannot see him. He's away.
Yep. NiP survived just a little bit longer, but they got to get like 10 more of those kind of engagements. Resolution, all right. Take away that Aegis,
but that's
or maybe
Immortal.
not.
If Era, he's silenced. He didn't have the Dark packed up in time. There's no Sonic Wave, but this is a big blunder. NiP now, if it was going to be a kill, all he would have cracked was the rock, the Aegis. And that, well, it had 2 minutes left on it, but they could have delayed the fight.
Now the PKB for the troll. What do? It's all magic damage out from NiP. You actually do very, very little physical damage.
Does this almost feel like the last game when, like, I know that ended ways where it shouldn't have ended, but you look at the lineup from NiP and you say, well, where's your physical damage coming from? You don't have a Bristleback here, which is what was the turning tide in the last match, but...
Yeah, this is one of the biggest reasons that Slark is a very poor hero in the 25 to 35 minute marker, because he's so pick-off oriented, but he can't stake around in team fights because he's squishy, he's susceptible to AoE, he's susceptible to disables even after the Dark Pact, and he also, his damage is minimal when there's mass amount of BKBs, because his right clicks are not doing that much. I mean, you have to survive so long through the engagements and be constantly right-clicking to someone to build up a decent amount of stats so that your right clicks are impactful.
If we get 2350, that Aegis should be gone from Resolution, so watch that timer very, very closely. A Resolution, they just keep beating into the tier 3 tower, force out the fortification. They still, again, have an activated Dro Aura. How long until the resummon? 50 seconds. And Visage did lose one of those Aghanim's buff up Familiars. But he still got 2.
And they still should be able to take this tier 3 tower without a problem. Era He's trying to put himself on the front lines, but it's so dangerous.
Resolution. He wants to pop here. He actually wants to die. The mech charge, there goes your Aegis Immortal, but in trade-off, you just took out the Night Stalker and the tier 3 tower. So Sentry Wars to go down to... Well, they're waiting for what? There's no smoke movement in. In fact, now there's speed into the range rack, starting on with the one they can easily pick off, then into the melee. The Flame Break slowing him down as well. Silent still holding on to his BKB. Resolution's too low, but they got what they wanted. Now can they get out without any casualties? Battle Rider was searching for one. With a Blink Dagger 4-stuff, he could have. But they don't want to take the risk because they still don't have the Night Stalker control.
The game is over if Empire do not make any mistakes in positioning. So it's the right call in NiP in that sort of situation when they don't see the opening to not engage. Because if they try and force a fight and there's no mistakes from Empire in position-wise just to set up the whole entire fight, then it's just not possible. NiP will lose that engagement, the middle ranks will still fall, and then it'll be mega creeps within a short amount of time. So NiP basically buy themselves one more slim chance by giving up that mid lane of racks and waiting out for Empire to push in bottom. Hopefully then that's where the positioning error comes in.
We're doing what I like to refer to as the Rocks Kiss. You go out, you disappear, and then you just look for that quick jump in, find the opening, and you do it in the back of smoke, and that's going to be it. Night Stalker, dead before you can basically say dead. And with him down, well, there is the last super. Where's his BS? He already used swap for initiation, so nothing can save the Queen of Pain at this point, but you're initiating him with a Soul Toucher damage. Seal Kid! So much pain and hurt. Ninjas in Pajamas will buy back on Seal Kid. They do have at least the advantage here because it's one call for one support down.
That was not bad for NiP.
Yeah.
That was actually...
It could have been a lot worse.
Considering how poor the odds are for NiP in this situation, to be able to walk away with a 1-for-2 trade-off on a core for 2 supports,
and after the buyback,
and a
it was
BKB
only
charge is used.
Even with the buyback, it was only a 400 gold swing. The experience remained pretty much the same.
Yeah, the BKB charge is pretty important there from Empire, not because it takes seconds down, but more the fact that it just means Troll cannot push uphill for another 40 seconds. It's unlikely anyway. And that leaves openings for NiP now to push out aggressively and trying to find a pickoff. They can't sit back. They can't wait it out. Again, this game is entirely out of their hands. They need to do something that they need to take charge of their own destiny and push out and see if they can't force a fight.
It's so difficult to do because always want to fight. All he's got to do is move the Familiars up to the top lane, and they have to come back. And here comes NiP. You trigger Darkness, and instantly Warning Bell should be flagging for Team Empire. Thunder God's Wrath gives them all the vision, and where's your opening? Earn charge onto Always Want to Fly, doesn't really care about that, but there's no mech charge. It's on cooldown for 9 more seconds. Flame Break, they're going to get this kill on the Visage. The Familiars, they start attacking out. So does Era. Silent as well as Funnick chasing after him. The Visage is dead, but Seal Kid, these Familiars, it's a 3-man gang squad moving just as them. And they'll look over towards Limp as well. So right on their tails, there's your Sonic Wave. Zeus will go down. The swap pulling him away from Era. Era's Shadow Dance is about to wear out, which means Magic Missile Stun will connect. He does have that advantage of the Dark Pack to break free of the stun effect, but the damage output from Silent, he just keeps tossing these Tomahawks. Meanwhile, back at base, the creep wave pushed in, attacking the tier 4 tower, so Night Stalker is forced back to defend. But what did you really lose? You got all your cores up, and as I drew about 3 minutes ago, push bottom lane equals win. That's all that really has to happen now for Empire.
Yep, absolutely. Ninjas and Pajamas did what they could to force an offensive fight at the very least, right? You take that sort of engagement and you hope to stall up Empire as much as possible. And because you force it out so far outside of your base, the rest of your heroes should be up to defend. But then again, the physical damage is pretty insane from Empire.
Ooh. BT it in. Queen of Pain arrives on the back of the Familiars. That tier 3 tower died very quickly. The Eel set run to Dro Ranger. Limp might do a little bit of harassment. Beyond that, the lasso, they caught Silent. This is a big one. He does have a lot of saving, and there it is, the BS swapping him out in Era. He is just getting completely pounded into the ground. The Familiar drop-down control was also there. Double kill for Silent. Limp's caught in the trees where it is not safe. Night Stalker as well. I think this is practically over. You've also got Era buying back into the game, but it won't stop the Mega Creeps from coming up, and GG well played. Empire, with a very firm boot, kick NiP down off that second position and push themselves closer and closer up towards... that was basically my last memory of the Dro Ranger in mid. And
it's not a very good memory for you.
No,
watching the Dro Ranger die over and over. Still pulled out the win,
the hilarious thing
is,
like, it's not so masochistic, but the Dro Ranger was still effective after death.
Yes, it was.
Which, it brought it back almost close to the Warcraft 3 lore, where she is, in fact, a dead Ranger. as opposed to now where she's just the pretty one of a whole bunch of ugly people. Prefer the old law.
Toby dropping the lower bombs here
Hey,
at MLG.
it's yes.
So Bounty Rune going to be picked up by Limp, the mid Zeus, while Resolution, the Draw Ranger mid, will grab the opposing Bounty Rune. Team Empire
Into the jungle, and they just stack. So Seal Kid, there's no point keeping him on the bottom lane until the creep wave reaches the tower, so he can just move into the jungle and start stacking up, or potentially be a little bit more of an aggressor up against the Quap, which we're already seeing Hanskin doing. Pushing Funnick just a little bit further back, but not too far. Actually, Seal Kid's just bypassing it. Because they have the Dire Observer Ward here, which is watching the movements quite closely of the Quap.
Loha Dance is going to be stacking up that hard camp. Very critical point where the troll could use that, but I think it's much more likely that the Draw Ranger actually is going to be farming up a hard camp. Not that she does it that quickly. Obviously, she's all single target, but she can actually basically do full toggle damage early on. He starts off with 5 armor and a decent amount of HP. This is still a very favorable setup for Team Empire, and Ninjas and Pajamas are just going to have to constantly rotate to deal with this. You can see Era is already up at the top lane.
Yeah.
He's going to be taking over this. They want to match up against the Queen of Pain, but I'm not sure how much Team Empire are going to rotate to follow the tri-lane. Because they don't necessarily want to tri-lane with the Queen of Pain because she wants the levels. But do you constantly move your troll? He's not getting much farm at that point.
Well, right now, like, there's no tri-lane for NiP. I'm happy with Silent being exactly where he is. Quap can remain where she is. And NiP are the ones who are abandoning the lane. So they put Eunice.
She's a triple ranged lineup. Right, a huge amount of extra physical damage is going to come into play here. And then if they win that aggro tri-lane, they should also win the bottom lane, which is going to be the Queen of Pain faced up against what should have been the Bat Rider. But NiP obviously know what's happening here. There's no way the Queen of Pain is a solo off lane here. They read the aggression. They're going to be trying to stay ahead of that tri-lane, aggro tri-lane of Team Empire. So they're going to be running the Slark and Skywrath Mage to bottom lane, and Hanskin, as well as Eunice, are going to be up at top. Man,
I haven't seen a Draw Ranger mid-solo, all these casts of Draw Ranger mid-solo since TZ fed it.
Recognizing the fact that, hey, NiP are going to be trying to dodge us as much as possible. Let's actually switch up our lanes. We're going to be a little bit far behind. We'll probably miss out on the first CS.
This may not be where he wants to walk into. The Observer Ward sees him. Low Dance goes for the first stun. You do have Grave Shield, so you can chip away at his life, even if you can't find the kill with the range axes. And they may almost have enough. Is there enough for the hit up the hill? They've got it! Visage will take the first blood. And that's quite big for him, not just for the experience which is gained here, but it's going to be item progression for a Visage, which is a little bit scarier, in fact.
Yeah,
because it can mean your early medallion or whatever else you want.
90% of 4 positions would have guaranteed been dead there. The fact that it was only close was because Night Stalker's actually pretty tanky versus physical.